I'm Spencer Hughes with Jeff Slakey. Good morning. It is Daybreak here on iFiber One News Radio. We have a very special guest with us here, joining us via Skype. It's Susan Kirchoff, who's the executive director of the Shelton Family Center at 123 South 2nd Street here in Shelton. And they're on Facebook. You can search for them under Shelton Family Center. Their website is sheltonfamilycenter.org. And Susan, great to talk with you this morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. Great.
Well, it's always great talking with you. And I remember when I found out about your center and spent some time there, it was during the Christmas holiday, because I remember we were trying to find a good home for our artificial Christmas tree, and we ended up making it as a donation to you guys there, and loved seeing it there in your beautiful center. I just fell in love with the place and your mission and what you're trying to do for the youth in the community in particular. When did this center start, and what's your involvement with it? How did you get involved with it?
So we started as three women who were concerned for the community back in 2018, actually 2 years prior to that. So it would have started in 2016, noticing there was no place for our young people to really be safe and to hang out and connect to services. So we started doing, looking in the community, asking people, what do you feel we need? From that, and I call it our environmental study, for lack of a better way, we realized that the need was really there, and we felt the community would really support it. So we started out and opened up in 2018, getting our business license. And then in September 2018, we got our 501c3, which made us a nonprofit. And then just in this past September 2019, we were fortunate to work a deal for the building that we're currently in and open the drop-in center, which we now call the Shelton Youth Connection Drop-in Center. So it's an umbrella of Shelton Family Center, because it gets a little confusing. So I wanted to make sure I kind of add that in, because our sign says Shelton Youth Connection, which is a drop-in center. So it's kind of a doing business as Shelton Youth Connection. And we were awarded a grant back in July of 2019, which kind of pivoted us into working with homeless youth, young adults, specifically the unaccompanied under 18-year-olds. We do work with the older young people, but nobody over the age of 24.
Now, there's so many homeless people. I didn't realize this, but Mason County sadly has a lot of homeless youth, and I don't see too many communities offering what you are offering. So it's a wonderful, beautiful thing what you are doing. And it's, as a father of six, Susan, it makes me very sad to think that there are so many kids who are unattended, who, for whatever reason, and we're not here to judge, they're in a position where they need that extra, help. And it just breaks my heart to know that there's a lot of kids that have nowhere to go. We assume that, kids, and these kids are oftentimes, they're enrolled in the regular schools, right? But they just don't go home after school.
Right.
They're out on the streets, or they're living with friends on their couches.
So last year, when the school year ended, the McKinney-Ventos, which are the liaisons for the homeless unaccompanied youth, recorded 128 in Mason County. So that's between all of Mason County. Those are the youth that actually said, I need help. So that number skewed because there's kids that haven't came in to be helped. But they're couch surfing, they're living in their cars, wherever they can, to just survive and be safe.
And is it a lot, again, not to judge, but just to kind of get some demographic information, is it a lot of just fighting with parents? And parents, I couldn't believe where we lived before, how many of our kids' friends were in situations where we actually gave them a place in our home to stay, sometimes for extended periods of time, because their parents would kick them out of the house, and oftentimes for what we consider to be, pretty ridiculous reasons. I mean, it doesn't even have to be anything serious these days, where a parent just says, you're out of my house, and it turns into a big grudge, and then the poor kid has nowhere to go. Oftentimes, maybe it's drugs or alcohol abuse. What do you find, if you had to kind of give a thumbnail sketch, is it all of the above?
I would say, yep, all of the above. I'm being tactful in the way I'm saying it. Some of it's parenting. Some of it's we've had some youth, and this is not me judging, because I go by what the youth tell me. And you can't say, but my heart, I have 7 children. So I'm with you. I understand the raising. We've had numerous young people stay in our home, and we've brought them in and said, you can live with us until you graduate, or you're doing better, or whatever. There is no one check all box that says this is where it is. We've had youth being kicked out because of drugs, alcohol. Their value and view systems do not fall in line with the value and views of their parents. Poverty. I mean, we have a few that the mom's homeless. And then they've aged out, and now they're a homeless entity together. So you have the mom and the young person being homeless. We have a young adult person. She's 20. She's been homeless for 4 years.
Wow.
So part of her was homeless with her mom, who became homeless. And now she's in a position where it's become a lifestyle, and I can't leave my mom because what's going to happen? So it's a breaking the cycle of, I don't know if I can become any more than what I am. And that's just one entity. So there's just so much that goes involved in that to make who they are. But I would say the most of it is a clash of personalities more than anything, and that's about, with the people under 18, that's what I have found the most. You're not following my value system. You're not being part of my system. I can't no longer have you here.
That's Susan Kirchoff, Executive Director of the Shelton Family Center, also known as the Shelton Youth Connection at 123 South 2nd Street here in Shelton. You can find them on Facebook under Shelton Family Center and on their website, sheltonfamilycenter.org. We'll have more from Susan tomorrow, and if you missed any part of the interview, you can catch it on our website, ifiber1newsradio.com. You're listening to Daybreak. Good morning.